We recording, brother. We're good. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Highway Commission, and want to open up with the invocation. Would you mind, Shannon? Would you mind leading us in the invocation?
Nope. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and thank you for the rain. Even though we don't always like it and makes some of us have to work harder than others, it's good for us to have. Thank you for everyone gathered here tonight to do the people's business, and hopefully that in doing so we are reflective of our belief in you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Everyone is present except for Commissioner Wright.
He's working tonight.
He's working tonight. Mayor Isbell couldn't be here. He emailed. And then Tom Neal, our citizen member, is not here. But everyone else is here. And we'd like to welcome our new staff attorney.
Thank you.
Or actually law director, I should say. Forgive me. Eric Sittler. And do you know everybody here?
Yes, I've been introduced.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Make
Thank
sure.
you.
Okay, so first thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same token. Passes unanimously. Going to talk about the approval of the minutes for last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at them? I'll entertain a motion for that.
I wasn't here, so I'll have to defer.
Okay, got it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same token. Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, and then, so we're going to do some public recognition. I've got Chrissy signed up. Is there anyone else that wants to speak before we go on? Anyone for the public that wants to speak? Okay, if you would, Chrissy, would you come up and please state your, I know that everyone knows you, but state your name and address, and then just what you're speaking on.
Chrissy Miller, 1005 Thornhill Court, Hendersonville, Tennessee. I am actually here as a citizen on your new business, B2, the removal of the stop sign on Tower Hill Lane. That is actually something that our HOA, I'm actually the vice president of HOA in Tower Hill, and before that we actually established an HOA, the construction company that took over our neighborhood after the Great Recession of 2007 had this stop sign put up, and it's literally in the middle of the road. There is actually a road that turns off called Delray Trail, and that stop sign needs to stay, but the other two stop signs literally are coming down a hill, and then boom, there's a stop sign just in the middle of the road. It does not serve a purpose, and the reason that it was put up is because we had a neighbor, one of them's no longer in our neighborhood, and the other one is still there, but as a board we decided that the stop sign was pointless, but they wanted it taken away to slow people down. And according to our county engineer, that you cannot use a stop sign to control the speed of traffic. So we have determined that that stop sign is not necessary, and the problem is, and I evaluated this myself because they were on the board, and we kind of went and just kind of hung out by the stop sign, and the speed limit is 20 in the neighborhood, so the speed limit's pretty slow. People do speed, but it is what it is. But more people, I think there was 13 cars in about a 35 minute period, and one out of the 13 actually stopped at the stop sign. The rest of them blew through the stop sign, and to me that's way more dangerous than somebody speeding, through a neighborhood. So can't make people slow down, and a stop sign in the middle of the road to me is very dangerous. And it's on a hill, and when it's icy and snowy, you can't even think of stopping there. So the county evaluated it. Mr. Ellis, our road superintendent, came out and evaluated, and I just wanted to let you know that I do support the removal of the stop sign, and if you guys would support me in that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, so if there's no one else that wants to speak, that's going to close public comments. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for speaking. so report of the chairman, for old business, I don't have anything. For new business, I don't have anything that's official, except I wanted to bring it to your attention, that we're gonna need to fill the citizen spot, and I reached out to Mr. Neal. I've called him a few times, haven't ever heard back from him, except for one time we got on the phone before, but he's never gotten to be to a meeting. Understand it completely, life gets in the way, and I didn't wanna take it prematurely from him for any reason at all. I'm really grateful for the service he's given to the county, but just wanted to have just to bring it up, that I'm gonna push it forward to the committee of committees and just say, hey, we need to find someone to fill that spot, because I really think we need to have, full attention to this committee. And then the second thing I was gonna say is that I appreciate each of you, and I've had so many people reach out and tell me how much they appreciated Toby and how hard he's worked and his crews have worked. And I just want to say that publicly. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the county through this Arctic blizzard that we've had, and all the rain and the snow and the ice and everything. And so really do appreciate that very much. So
Thank you. We got wonderful people.
So that's all I have. And so Mr. Road Superintendent, would you like to speak to anything? And if we would, I was going to say, let's keep it just as concise as we can, and just let Toby speak. And I'm going to have Marshall come up and speak on an issue, on this first issue with Toby, or anything else that he needs to speak to. But otherwise, we'll just keep it closed to that. We'll just move forward.
Well, me and Marshall worked on number 1 and number 2. Changing of the roadway specification for Sumner County is just an information-only topic for us tonight. I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention that me and Marshall have worked together on this and even talked about it before I took office, but it's something that we have talked with other cities within the county. I think City of Gallatin is doing the same thing that we're talking about doing, but Marshall and Josh are taking it to the planning committee and going to take it on to commission. But it's something that as of right now, our specifications for our new construction and roadway repair now is 7 to 1.5. And once you get into, especially with the new construction and the housing market taking a slide and going south as far as how many units they're turning, is that these phases for Sumner County can sit out doing the process can sit there longer. And so what happens is they go in and put the base stone, the binder and the curb down, and then sometimes it can sit there for a year or two before it gets overlaid, because sales slow down. And then this road just gets beat up in a time frame that it wasn't meant for. So what we have talked about doing with other cities as well as us is beefing it up with the base stone as well as the binder at no cost to the county. The developer will cover the cost, and in reality, he'll probably save money, because it'll save him on the repair side when it comes down to repairing the roadway, getting it ready for overlay. So initially, he'll have a cost up front, but most of them are going to see the instant impact on the repair side. And we've done this in the past with other cities, and developers have really liked it because it saves them thousands of dollars a phase by having a heavier spec on the front end and the binder. And the binder is set up for the strength side, the base stone and the binders. That's where you get all your strength. So. Marshall, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, and really nothing to add. Toby did a good job summarizing. I do want to mention that this will not really cost the county anything, but we will get a better product in the long term, just like Toby mentioned. So it's a good thing.
So, okay, if there's no questions there, I'll move on.
Yeah, thank you guys for sharing that with us. And since there's not anything to vote on, we'll just move it forward. But we really appreciate y'all so much. And on this next one,
number 2 was something that Marshall was contacted by the HOA and Ms. Miller. We went out and observed. I guess the name of the road is Tower Hill Lane and Delray at that intersection, and really Tower Hill should be a through road, and with no stop sign at all. With
You guys see
Delray,
it right here.
yes, it's in your packet. And me and Marshall both agree, based on the MUTCD specifications, that there should not be any stop sign located there, that Delray should be the only road that has a stop sign. So I feel like we should remove them, and I think Ms. Miller's right, it causes more confusion than good. I'll turn that over to Marshall as well.
That's, Toby, again, a good job. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So there'll be, in order for the community out there, because I realize this is through the HOA, and I think it's very wide. But with anything that's stopping you, because I am number one, follow the rules, and I stop at stop signs. So, I may be the only one in the county, but there is a way to warn the people that live there that they're no longer, my thing is, you know, the traffic.
On Delray Trail, we would add a sign to the existing stop sign, letting them know that the cross street is not stopped.
Okay,
And so as they approach that stop sign, they see that and know that those cars aren't stopping anymore.
okay, so it's just for a period of time and then take it.
And it'll be something that I would go a step further and put it in the newspapers, put it on social media,
Yeah.
and just kind of get the word out that this is gonna happen.
Right, because somebody's gonna stop there and get rear-ended
Get rear-ended back.
coming down the hill. Those rule followers who were looking, are gonna stop because they're looking for the sign.
And in Marshall, I can go one step further and put a message board at the entrance of the subdivision for probably, let's say, 2
Changing
weeks.
traffic.
Yeah.
2 weeks, just letting them know that that sign will be taken down.
Yeah, so, just on that agenda item, I'll entertain a motion for discussion. Would you like to talk about that at all? Anybody have any questions about it?
Is that an item that
Think
we
we've
need to
already
discuss
discussed it.
or vote on, or is it just gonna
It's a-
happen?
We will need to have a vote on that.
I would like to have a vote
Yeah.
on it, and
I'll-
really, it doesn't go any further than us.
Motion to discuss.
Okay, all in favor, oh, I need a second.
Second, we need a second.
Anybody want a
We
second?
have to discuss if we're
Second.
gonna vote on
All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
All opposed, by the same token? Okay, so let's talk about it. Doesn't seem like, I will say that it was, just right down the road from my house. I live right there at Caps Gap, close to that area. And, Marshall probably remembers, it was, I think, right before the election, back in the summer, there was a change in traffic flow pattern, and it was very successful. It's very sad because there was actually a motorcycle accident
Oh, at that four-way.
right there before that was even put down. It wasn't related, but it just happened to be the day that they were putting it down to put the stop sign. Wasn't related to the stop sign at all, but it was very effective. Everybody got in the flow of it. I didn't see any issue, and that has never had a stop sign there. And it was just super easy. Everybody wanted to stop there automatically anyway. So good job on that one,
So
Marcia.
my understanding is they're gonna take the stop sign down, they're gonna put warnings out for people to know about it, and then once that warning's up, they'll take it away, and then it will just be a pass-through road, and the other one will have a stop sign.
Yes, and it
That's
looks
it.
as though it literally is, like
Yeah.
Chrissy said, it's just right in the middle of the street. It's just like they're coming through here and having to stop.
And
Right.
I will put a message board out front for 2
Okay.
weeks before we take it down.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Okay?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passed unanimously to be moved forward with positive recommendation to remove that stop sign.
All right, item number 3, I wanted to talk to everybody. I sent in y'all's packet basically an email that I sent to David Lawing and Matt Shove. They had contacted me about a month ago. And they have come up with some monies that is appropriated through ARP. At this point, what David Long has told me is, of the ARP money that we have, none of it has been given. We have not shared in that as the highway department. And they recognize that, and they were asking me my immediate needs and some things that I really need. And I'm just gonna be as transparent with y'all as I possibly can. The tractors are a need, but the need that I need first and foremost is just money for one bid item, and that's asphalt, and it's bid on the annual budget, and I will see to it that it just goes to that item. I'm really just wanting to pave more roads, guys. I put in here a list of roadways that I want to do between now and July 1st on this budget. And as you can see, I do have one state aid that's listed in there, so some of that money will come back to me. But still, this dollar amount is over and above probably $1.5 million what I've got. And these roads are all 9s and 10s. They're really worst case scenarios. And it's a safety factor more so than anything. And it's getting to the point to where we're gonna start losing our road base. Tim asked me one day, he says, you know, when you have a $1 million repair a road for $1 million and you wait 5 years, it's still $1 million. No, it's not. It just gets worse and worse, and it gets more expensive and more expensive. So right now this month, liquid AC has went down $20. Historically, what has happened in early spring is that bituminous index has been low and gradually went up over the course. July is usually one of the peak times of the bituminous index because that's when the petroleum goes up, gas prices go up because everybody's going on vacation. So you can think about that. Anytime gas is going up, so is liquid AC. And so it kind of spikes there, and I want to get as much done between now and July 1st as I possibly can, because any dollar amount that I save, I think I told you, if I save $200,000 because liquid AC is low, that's $200,000 more dollars that we get to spend on asphalt to repair somebody's road. So,
And Toby, if you don't mind me speaking to this, so I spoke with Toby for a bit on this. I talked to David Lawing too, and I love Toby's heart about wanting to save money on it, but truthfully, it's a win-win. It looks like, according to David Lawing. I mean, it's not money out of taxpayers' pockets at all. It's money that goes directly to Toby, and he can use it for that. And it's not been tapped into. It's not going to be something extra. It's a direct, according to David, and it doesn't raise our maintenance of effort. And so it literally will just help, even if there isn't a savings, even without that.
even
According, am I correct on all that? It's still going to be good for,
it's still going to be
you,
the
for the
saving. Even I think there'll be a savings there, but what you get, the bang for the dollar, is not the dollars that you're going to save when it gets worse next year. What we don't get done and have to do next year is going to be more expensive to do.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure you know I did speak to David, spoke to Toby, and there's no maintenance of effort increase, which is, I think, a big deal. A lot of y'all would have that question, and I thought I'd just call and get the jump on that and go ahead and ask it from David.
And it's something I would just ask. I would like to send it to budget.
Next one.
Yeah, it's next week.
So I'll entertain a motion for discussion or just to go ahead for approval.
I'll second that because I have a question.
Wait, we need a second, or we need a first.
You made a motion.
He's
I know, I said I'll
entertaining.
Oh, he entertained it.
Go ahead
Well,
and take the motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same token? Okay, go ahead, you can discuss.
So, in one of the emails that you sent in our stuff, you talked about you will be prepping the roads
Yes, right now.
because you cannot pave until it's a certain.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
week I'll have an opportunity to maybe do some paving. It won't be full roads, it'll be what I call spot paving, where we've went back and did a bunch of potholes, and there's sections of roads that have sections of potholes, and we're gonna
Yeah.
do sections and pave some spots, cause it's gonna be 50, 60 degrees. It's gonna be, which is unseasonably warm for this time of year, but we're gonna take advantage. Most of it, what we're doing in the winter is we're putting in, I've got a list of the roadways, which I've shared with y'all. We're going through these roads in order to where we're replacing the culverts. The culverts are in bad disarray. We're repairing them. We're going in and fixing the shoulders. We're patching the roads. We're trimming the limbs back. We're doing all the things that we need to do. So when the good weather gets here, we're kind of coming out of the gate and doing a leveling course and overlaying the roadways, which gets us down the road a lot further.
So it's not ground temperature, it's ambient temperature?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Asphalt cools down too fast,
Yeah.
getting to the place.
So you're
Thanks,
starting with
Daddy.
the tens, and then go to the nines, and then the eights?
Yeah, there's nines and tens on this list and a few eights, but I mean, yes, we're doing the very worst,
Okay.
the very worst. And that's one thing I hope this time next year I'll have a roadway system, mapping system where y'all can go online and look at it and see the ratings of the roads and seeing what we're doing.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve. Oh, wait, does this include the tractors? Or you just asking for the?
They gave me a number and I didn't know where I was at on it. It was
Oh,
range
okay.
and I thought, hey, if I can get that in one tractor, I'm happy. If I just get the mix, the mix is my greatest desire. And
So you wanna use ARPA fund, make sure I understand it correctly.
Mhm.
You're using ARPA funds to pay for the mix.
Yes,
Is what
ma'am.
you wanna do with the roads,
Yes, ma'am.
not the tractors, not all of it.
That's right. I need the mix, I really do. We've got a lot of bad roads.
So I'll entertain a motion. We had a motion. Can we get a second for, to approve, to pass this on with the, to budget with a positive, recommendation?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make that motion for the roads, for the asphalt,
Mary
yes.
seconded.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed by the same token? And I didn't say aye, but I mean aye.
Do we
Would
want
you
to
please
put
read
the,
that? Sometimes I don't say it. Okay, awesome. So moving to the next,
Jamie, will you, I will send an email to Matt, letting him know it passed, and if you do so likewise, that'd be great.
Yeah, I will.
Or I'll just copy you on it.
yeah, perfect, yeah, but yeah, absolutely, Pat. Unanimous.
All right, this agenda 4 is not there's no way, I mean, this page, this document goes with agenda 4, and it's talking about a road between Bethpage and Westmoreland called West George Durham Road. And what's happened, I went back and looked at the records and don't have really good records as far as historical. But sometime in the early 90s, this road, there's a cemetery at the end at the bottom of the hill. If you look at this paper right here, it used to, the county maintenance used to go all the way to the end to the cemetery. And sometime in the late 90s, they backed it up to the last house on the road, which makes sense. There was no houses down to the cemetery. So they backed the county line to the house, and they just kind of let that road go. Well, since then, I talked with a man, Vince Schlenker. He is building a house at 688 West George Road, which is 800 foot down the hill. This is 688 right here. And so he has cleared off a plot of land, and he's fixing to build a house. And then from that point, the cemetery is 2,700 feet. What I propose is that when I'm gonna maintain the roadway gravel for right now while he does the house and gets the house built. At some point in the next year or two, if y'all approve it, as far as lengthening the road, the 800 foot, I'll probably go in there and pave it next year or two. Nothing real soon. I want him to get his house done and get the construction out of the way first. But I wanted to ask about that and then ask, since the road at one time went to the cemetery and it was part of the county official roadway list, I'm gonna ask if y'all would, since it's not county right of way, I'm coming to ask if it's okay with y'all if I can go in and maybe grade that road down to the cemetery maybe once every couple of years and just kind of clean it up so people can get to the cemetery. I went down there, I didn't even know about it. I went down there, somebody was buried in it this last year. And I kind of feel like, because it used to be a county road, we could probably, it would take maybe a day of labor and equipment time just to clip the road and compact it and get out of there at very little cost. And I wanted to run by that by y'all and let y'all see what y'all think.
Okay, can we open, can we have a motion?
Make a motion to discuss.
Discuss, and a second.
Yes, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, for the same token. Yeah, okay, passed unanimously. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we, Toby, I have a couple questions. So I couldn't find it on the road list, like at all, like not any of George Durham.
It's West George Durham.
I couldn't find West George Durham
Okay, I'll
either.
show you.
I may just be missing it,
You
you know,
can-
obviously.
Hold on, I'll show you.
But, I looked on here, I couldn't find George Durham or West George Durham. There's the G.
You got it, Christie?
Thanks for doing that. I knew I was probably overlooking that. Oh, I see, it's just a W.
Yeah, it's just a W.
Got
Durham.
it, got it, okay. Okay, that's helpful. Okay, and so we do know that it was at some point,
At some point, it did go, it's,
It crossed over the water and continued on.
to east.
Could you
to
point
this
towards the
right
water?
here.
Oh, here it
Oh, I
is.
see.
This is the one.
The water's right, it used to, this was all one road.
I understand.
And then
Did y'all see that? So this was all one road
at one time.
from here at one time. It came over down like that, right?
Right.
Now it's east and west.
Yeah,
Okay.
at some point years ago, they lost the bridge or something and they just stopped it.
So, now,
when Vince built his house, I mean, we gotta go down to his driveway.
so I completely understand that. I just wanna make sure we know. First off, I mean, he's a taxpayer, just like
Right.
all of us, and so, you know, that's something to consider. My one worry is that, just to state the obvious, so 800 feet more. Sorry, is it 800 feet or 800
It's
yards?
800 foot.
Okay, well, that's better than what I was thinking 800 yards, but 800 feet,
It's
it's like,
about 3.5 loads of mix.
okay, got it. So that makes me already feel better. I was thinking
No.
closer to a half a mile if it's,
Yeah.
you know, but it's not yards, so.
No.
Okay, so I'll take back my worry on that, but I mean, if it really was, would there be any consideration of it going all the way down to the cemetery? Is it,
I don't see us doing that, no. I mean, that would be a pretty costly expense at this point. I just want to go in there,
are they able to drive to the cemetery? I'm sorry to butt in, but,
right now, they're not. I had to put it in four-wheel drive. They got ruts probably 8 to 10 inches in the roadway where it's been washed out real bad. And there's a lot of gravel still on it. I could take the road grader and clip the road 2 or 3 times and be, make it passable.
yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I'm just trying to understand some of this. So we're responsible for the 800 feet once he puts the house there?
Yes.
It's just right on there. It's right on.
If we adopt it, if we re-adopt it, I guess you'd say.
We're responsible for the 800 feet once he puts the house there. Because there's already a county road there. We just haven't been paving it because there hasn't been houses there.
That's right.
So we gotta fix it back up. We still own it. Who owns this property right here? The big swath of land right here.
I can pull it up and find out.
Is that a family cemetery back there?
It's an old family cemetery.
Private,
but
like a
there's-
private cemetery?
It's, I don't, Tim, to tell you, I mean, I don't think it's a family cemetery. I went down there, somebody was buried this year in it, and none of the names match as far as who was in there. There's a lot of different families in there. I think it's just an old cemetery from back in the day. There were some farms around this area, and that was their cemetery at one time. But, I really feel like with, some new people being buried back in there, you would be talking about labor for one day every couple of years.
Chairman, may I ask Marshall Boyd a question
go ahead.
since he's our engineer? My parents have a cemetery on their property. We have friends that have cemeteries on their property. You can bury anybody you want to in your cemetery, right, if you own it? So whether it's a family cemetery or not, they could allow, like, because my friend Sherry said that she said, I'll let you be buried next to me.
Yeah.
So, and that is legal in the state of Tennessee. So whether or not it's a family cemetery, it's clearly, that 2,700 feet has been a county road, just
It has
been
in the
neglected.
past. It has, and then they shortened it up to the
Mhm.
last house on the road, which makes sense to me.
That's half a mile. I was just getting at who are we
Yeah.
doing this for? Is somebody actually going to benefit from this? And you said that there was a new grave back there from just
Yes.
over a year ago. So, I mean, it's a
And
terrible thing we're doing. I don't see a problem with it, but
But here's I don't work.
you're just talking about scraping,
Yeah,
getting the
I don't
holes
work
out of
outside.
it, and trimming the trees.
I don't work outside the right of way. And this, if I do this, it would be something that would be a joint decision on all of our parts. You know, I want to make y'all right, cause it would be something that would be very low budget. And if y'all don't think we need to do it, we won't do it.
I'm somewhat of an authority on cemeteries.
Because you toured them all already?
My family cemetery is on the state prison property out in the Hydes Ferry Pike area, and I maintain it. And they found out very quickly that they could not prevent me. And the lawyer can check the Tennessee. Tennessee's unique in this law. They cannot prevent me at any time from visiting. I give them a courtesy call to my family cemetery or to work on it or maintain it. And not only that, you have to provide adequate access. They don't. You do. And if it's on your property, I could be buried there, anyone else could be buried there. And so Tennessee has and the case that this came about happened right in Sumner County. And I have the law at home, but it's very unique. And with the family, whoever's buried here, the family could require the county, since they discontinued that road at one time, they could require the county to build an adequate road to
That's what I
that
was wondering.
cemetery.
It's kind of why I was asking who owned that property back there, because somebody has let it go, but may not have intended to, and I didn't know if we had the authority
You know,
to stop doing it.
We've talked in the past about right-of-ways and shortening and lengthening roads or what have you, and that was one thing, you know, now, it's hard to shorten a road. I mean, because these people have property value, and if you're taking them out off the county right-of-way, then their property just went down in value, and they could sue you and make you write them a check.
So, I mean,
So is it the situation now, though, with this conversation, that we will be required to fix this road all the way to the cemetery?
I believe if it ever, okay, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think Mr. Hyde actually has the authority on that, but I believe if it were to ever come up, they could require us and probably win.
Not necessarily pay, but an adequate
Yeah.
right.
way to
And-
get there.
And right now, we have thousands of tons of recycle, and that's old asphalt that has been milled off roadways. And I can, millings, I can go in there with probably 4 or 5 loads, clip it, compact it, and that road would be in good shape for a long time.
Yeah, okay, so my first thought is always like, well, what's going on around it, what's all that? But when you look at the facts of just, it used to be a county road, it doesn't matter what this situation is. It used to be a county road, it goes down to the cemetery, and it doesn't any longer because that bridge is out that, used to be there. I mean, realistically, it's kind of hard for me to really argue against any of it, because it's a taxpayer that's on an area that if he'd have built it 20, 30 years ago, it would have already been on a county road. It still is, but it would have been already continually maintained. And there was pavement on there, correct?
No, it was old and chipped.
Got it.
It was old and chipped. They had base stone and they had old and chipped it at one time, and it just needs to be, in my opinion, fixed back up a little. Like I said, it'd be very low cost.
Got it, okay.
In light of the fact that we have to maintain adequate access to that, I'd like to make the motion, we just send this to budget.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
Is there a cost to this, sir?
Will budget need to approve this?
Well,
Or are you just
budget,
asking
budget
permission to
don't,
go out?
budget don't have to approve it. Y'all can approve me to do it, and then I can turn in, I can just let y'all know how much time I spend on it. But it's something that y'all would approve.
Do you have a ballpark figure of what a day's labor is worth?
For, it would cost a few $1,000s to go over there and prep that road, because the material
As
would be.
opposed to how much would that cost to asphalt? Many,
Oh, yeah,
many
Oh, yeah.
tens of thousands.
yes,
So,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mind, it's just a matter of procedure, I wanna do
Yeah.
it, it's just a matter of
Mhm.
procedure, how do we
Yeah.
get it done?
yeah,
I'm,
okay,
Because, well, here's what I'm saying, we're not gonna pave the road. At some point, when Vince starts building on it and stuff, I feel like what the vote is that we vote to, we can put it on, we can delay it right now, but when he gets his house done, we vote to bring the road down to his driveway. That's number one. Number two is, are y'all in agreement with me to just go in there and clip the road one day
while you're there.
while we're
down to the cemetery.
down to
Yeah.
the cemetery?
So, I'll entertain a motion for that, right there, exactly what he said. So the motion would be, does anyone wanna make a motion,
Is
actually?
that proper procedure? Do we make motions to direct his work? If so, then so be it, but I just wanna make sure we're
No,
doing
I'm-
it right.
Well, the motion is that, it's out of the right of way. And I'm not gonna do anything out of the right of way without proper authorization of more than just me.
I don't think there's anything wrong with going through budget, but I'm saying, like, I think that it might be, the motion needs to be made or not made to either approve or deny. We have to have a motion of some sort.
So you're saying you're gonna go beyond the right of way, you don't have we don't have rights to the right of way, am I right?
What I'm saying is, we go the 800 foot, at some point,
From here.
when he built his house at 688 West George Durham,
Right?
we will vote to lengthen the road West George Durham 800 foot to get to his driveway. And that we will do. That's really not a big deal. But I also, when that happens, we're gonna entertain the driveway while I'm there touching up, working on the 800 foot. Is it, at that time, can I grade and repair the rest of the road?
Again, I don't have a problem with this, but, Mr. Sittler, I don't believe we have authority as a committee over what you do. I think our only authority is as a full commission. Is that not correct? I mean, we can't say yes or no to what he does.
If you don't mind me answering this, we're actually directing that it go on to the full commission. It will be voted on at the full commission.
That's fine.
I don't think that's what he's asking for.
The 800 foot will be voted on
Eventually, when he
By
gets
the
his
full
house
commission,
done,
yes.
eventually.
eventually.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
asking permission to go out of county
I
here.
understand that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that going to the full commission as
I
well.
understand that. I just don't think we can give it.
Yeah,
As
we-
much as I could say,
No,
yeah,
no,
go
I'm
for it,
saying-
it holds no power, I
No,
don't
you
think.
just-
Right.
Yeah.
The 800 will definitely go to the full commission,
I
but at
understand
some
what
point, I want to get verification on the 2,700 foot as well.
I understand what you mean.
I can say I'm okay with it, but I don't think we can vote and make that an action for him to be okay or not okay to do.
And just for just for clarification, I was expecting whatever the vote was to
Right,
go to
me
the
too.
commission.
I didn't mean that, I didn't understand what you meant, so.
So
Yeah.
all of it will go to the commission.
Right.
We just need to vote whether we send it to the commission or whether we send it with a positive recommendation. You know, whether we don't send it or there just needs to be a motion. It can go through budget, it can go straight to the commission, whichever way y'all wanna do that, but there needs to be a motion made.
One more question, if you will, Mr. Chairman. When is this house supposed to be finished?
He
Any idea?
has done all the clearing, Tim, and he told me Let me call him back. I think he's within a few months of starting building the house.
So 6 months from now, at least, 6 months to a year
Yeah.
before this even has to be
It's
done.
nothing,
But
it's nothing that's just.
I don't have a problem sending it on right
And-
now. It's just a decision's gonna be made, for something that's gonna happen a year later. But
Well, let
if
me-
you have
let
time
me-
in the meantime to
Yeah.
grade it off and you want to, and the commission says, okay, I want you to be able to do that, so let's send it to the commission.
When that stuff is cheap.
Yeah, I mean, let's do,
Well, and I will say, I spoke to David Long about this
no,
too.
he can't do it till the house is done.
And so he told me, he said it wouldn't necessarily increase the maintenance of effort, but it would increase the cost, because it would be the cost of what it was. And so eventually, it would wind up, raising that, you understand what I mean, the maintenance, you understand?
That 2,700 feet, or
Yes.
the 800.
Yes.
Yeah, the 800's gotta happen though. We don't have a choice on that because we have to provide it to the house, right?
Right.
So the 2,700, because of the fact that he could maybe do it sometime between now and when the house is finished, on a day when you guys don't have nothing to do because you're in between work or something, you're waiting on something else to drop. I want to give them the ability to go ahead and do it, so I'll make the motion to go ahead and send it to the commission now.
Okay, and before we look for a second, I want to ask our law director, is there any reason why that there's anything wrong with the way that motion's made, or any certain way we need to make that
The
motion?
way I understood you presenting it was you're sending A to the commission. B comes after A, so it might as well just be tacked on and all dealt with at the same time if you already agree to send the first part. So, I mean, it's all fine.
We can send all of it, but my point is the grading and all that prep work for B, if you will, can all be done at the same time and go back and pave it after the fact, right? I mean,
A is a definite and B is an optional.
well, he was saying it backwards, I think.
Well, A.
B being the
The A-
cemetery, A is the have to.
I was
The
talking
A's
about
the-
as
A's
far
the
as
have to.
voting.
Just,
Yeah.
But I will
cannot
say
be
that
packed.
if the commission, does approve that, I may go in and put the road sooner than later.
That's what I figured.
Because it's in bad disarray,
Might as well.
yeah.
Give you the freedom to do it when you can.
And if this goes before the full commission, would you be able to come speak to
I
it?
will.
Because I probably have some questions.
Definitely, and I'll send the packet, and if you look on agenda 4, it just shows the current, it being a mile and 1.64 tenths, and what it used to be around in the 80s was 2.36, so. I'll send that, and I'll send it to all the commissioners, and I'll be glad to touch base on that.
So can we go forward with my motion to send it to the commission?
Repeat your motion, would it be for A and B, the whole deal, right? Exactly what we've been talking about?
Yes, knowing that this is going to be done eventually, go ahead and send the whole job, A part, B part, to the commission to vote on. That'll be done later. This will be done in between whenever he can get to it.
So the motion has been made to whenever that is necessary, to recommend that there be paving for the 800 feet down to that 688
Driveway.
West George Durham Road driveway, and then that remaining 2,700 feet be prepped in the way that Toby explained, down to the cemetery.
Scraped and hard
not
packed
fully
and-
paved, but just
Trees
prepped.
trimmed.
Yes, and then done the way that he sees fit.
Yeah.
So
And-
that's the motion.
And if it's gonna be
Correct.
something that's read in the full commission, you may want to include in there, since we will be obligated to provide adequate access, that we should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, okay, and is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
It's about to
Okay,
die. It's fixing to die.
All right, thank y'all.
I'm not sure what I seconded, but I'm going.
all in favor, and but just
That
so we're clear
word
too.
salad.
So right now,
Yes.
we need,
It's a lot.
just, I didn't establish this, but
Okay.
1, 2, 3. So we need 4, to pass. Would that consider passing, or would we need 5? Can I ask that?
4 is seven members, isn't
1, 2, 3.
it? You would need 4.
4.
There's 8 members.
Mr. Sittler's not voting.
No.
Citizen.
Me, Shannon, Toby, Mary, Tim,
Citizen.
Terry, yeah, the citizen, John, and Tom.
John doesn't. Oh, John does vote on this one, I forgot.
So it'll have to pass unanimously, just so we know. If for it to pass, it has to have 5 votes. Just for the record. Sorry I didn't state that earlier, but this is maybe one that could come down to it, I don't know, so I just want to make sure. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed with same token? Okay, passed unanimously.
I want to say something very quickly. I appreciate Toby bringing a lot of these things to the Highway Commission because literally, well, 2 years ago, I was elevated from the beer board to the Highway Committee, and I served under Ms. Harden for a couple of years, and hardly anything came to other than by law approval of the highway, that hardly anything ever went to the budget unless additional money was being asked or went to the county commission. Since the state abolished highway commissions, it strictly became an advisory commission, and he literally could do a lot of things strictly on his own, but he chooses to come and present us with information, so I thank you.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate that very much.
I really do appreciate it. The 5th order of business is just a packet of the official road list that I give y'all, and if you look on the back page, what is listed in here and's been added is 1.38 miles has been added to this list, and that's for y'all's information. All of the roads on the back have been approved, and the ones that you will recognize as Cage's Bend Road. The others were done before us. And so I wanted to bring and give this to y'all as our new official road list. And I will do that. I could do it every January, but depending on how things progress during the year, if I see that we're really busy and we have 2 or 3 developments that we've done or something like that, and I feel that it's important, I will do it at any month that I feel like y'all need to know, these are the roads that's been added, just, they're already approved. And I just want y'all to have the most current information for the official road list.
And guys, just, if you don't mind me speaking on that, just for transparency, that's another thing he's doing that feels above and beyond. And so, it's already been voted on, these roads have already been passed. And so this is just to approve this to go to the full commission to just have the master list, directed that way. So I'll entertain your motion to pass this on to the full commission.
I'll second your motion.
I'll entertain it, I'll make the motion.
I'll
Thank you.
make second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, good, it passed unanimously.
All right, and I had one thing, and it dawned on me, and this is definitely not for gratification for myself. It's just to let y'all know that the department, we really based our character and our workmanship based on the 3 C's, and that's being courteous, caring, and concerned. And I tell the guys every day, I said, the citizens of this county aren't the problem. They're the reason we have a job, and they're the reason we're here. They're the people we're here to help. So I've gotten a lot of cards, a lot of thank you notes and stuff, and I was just talking to the girls one day, and I said, I just feel like I want to give this to the committee to let them know that people are taking the time to send write a thank you card and send it to the highway department. And I've sit here, I think I copied 15. We've probably had 50 or 60 since we've been in office, and I just really appreciate the citizens reaching out to us and letting us know. Sometimes you don't get kind words, sometimes it's complaints. And I just wanted to give y'all a sample of some people reaching out that they were happy with our mowing efforts. We've mowed over 1,600 miles of roadway since we've been in office, and we full right of way. We've been trimming back trees. We've put in guardrail. We striked over 30 miles. We've paved over 25 miles. We've done a lot of work. We've patched over 100 roadways. and people are taking the time I mean, my guys are coming to me and says, you know, people are coming out and thanking us personally. And so it's really important to me. I want Sumner County to know we hear you, we appreciate you, and this is what we do. But I also wanted to let all of you know that, you know, people are responding to us, and y'all are part of that. So I just wanted to share that with y'all.
And I gotta say, I gotta add to that, Toby, if you don't mind. So, when we woke up and everything was frozen over, just here last week, or whenever it was, about a week and a half ago, I guess it was right there around Christmas Eve. I had several people started calling pretty early about one of the roads out there, Precision Camp Creek. And I said, hey, would you please? And then they were already on it before I even had to even say anything. And then I called, and I had some other neighbors on my own street ask, and we are never able to get up our street. And so I thought, man, I don't want to call because it's my street. But I had neighbors call, and I thought, well, that's constituents. So I just said, hey, it's not too much trouble. You're right there. Would you mind just the front edge of that? Would you mind? And his guys were out there, and they did great. And I saw neighbors out waving at them as he's passing by. And so it just it really does mean a lot. Even my own street, and my neighbors, thank you for that. And everybody said how much they appreciate it. So I want you to know that. But so, well, I guess if that's everything on that, moving on to the report of the county mayor. Mayor Isbell sent out an email and said he couldn't be here, and he also wanted to say that he supported the ARPA funding, and he just, you know, he said just for the record he wanted to know that was how he felt on it. So even though it passed unanimously, I wanted to bring that up, that he did say that, and so I didn't want to not give him credit on that. Right now, the last thing that's really on here is the Liberty Creek Elementary flashing lights in the Hunter's Lane area. We promised, just as a highway commission, and Toby and I were talking about this too, and he's been really great to help discuss things with me. We promised that it would stay on here until we found a solution, and that the people were happy with. And it feels like I've stopped getting phone calls about it. I know that there's been some that were not happy with where the stop sign is, but I've gone out there and looked, and you know, it really seems like the traffic flow is really good out there, and I hate it that there's been a change right there. And if I'm wrong, and on the record, if I'm wrong, you know, please reach out to me and reach out to Toby, reach out to any of y'all, and let us know if we need to continue to discuss it. But we passed on the flashing lights to budget, and I haven't heard anything else about it. I don't believe it passed. But then we also made the strong recommendation that we hope that the school board, which we have no power over at all, just to be clear, would go ahead and approve the funding for putting in those lights. I know North Sumner has their lights in, but there's still none at Liberty Creek Elementary. And so I just want to bring those up, talk about them, and then can I make a motion and have a second for discussion on that?
I'll make the motion to start discussion.
There's a motion. Can I get? I'll second it. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same token. Okay, go ahead.
So they put the ones at North Summer. They're installed and they're working.
They are. I have not seen them with my eyes, but
I went through the other day, and I came through Fairfield, and that one was up. I didn't go down North Summer.
Was it working? Or
It was
wrong?
working, and they were solar, they looked great.
I believe Terry Wright said they were working. Forgive me
He
for
sent pictures.
And then since then, you know, now that it's on my mind, every school zone I go through, I'm looking. Oakmont, over in Cottontown, you know, they've got new ones. They look great. Tyree Springs, of course, they've been up for a while, but you know, whoever's doing them is doing a great job. They're up, they're functional, and they're all solar paneled, and that's the way to go.
Well, who was doing them? Is that
I
through
think
the school
I think
system?
I think
thought
the
you were
school
doing
says-
them.
No, I don't do them. I just said.
You brought us the bid.
I looked at the bid and come to y'all with it and said if if somebody needed to put them up, I would gladly do that, cause
Do you know who put them up?
I asked him to look into it for us, and he found the bid for us.
Right, I remember that.
And then, all I can tell is I believe it was the maintenance, department for the
maintenance
school.
department, that's right.
Now, I don't know that for certain, but that's what I heard from a couple different folks, and I believe Terry Wright said that was
Terry
what,
Wright.
who that
So
was.
the second part of my question is, why are the ones not up at Liberty?
Well, that's a school board question,
Well,
that I don't have an answer to or. a
this
way
is
to
an issue
correct it.
that started here with a acknowledgement of a shortfall from the school system. What is our obligation legally for having
Do we
traffic
send a
control at
letter?
schools after this long of knowing it and not doing anything about it? Can you speak to that? Or something you can look up?
I'll be glad to look it up. My problem in research with the school board is cities and counties want to say it's the school board, and the school board wants to say it's the, whatever the enforcement, be it the police or sheriff's department of the city. So
Well, in your-
that would be new ground for me to see
In
what
your-
authority.
In your inquiry, could you mention that it has been handled, as if that's a fact, by the maintenance departments of the school, so they are taking ownership in the other schools that it has been fixed in? Could we ask why they are choosing not to do this one and find out
Just to
if it
speak on this.
is indeed waiting on
Just to
funds?
speak on this and not to belabor the point, we voted and we agreed that we should fund it, and it didn't pass through budget, it never came to commission. So, I mean, ultimately, I don't know, I mean, I don't even know if we're able to send it to budget again, I don't know how that even works, but I mean, Mr. Howard, would you mind speaking to that?
You can send anything to budget as many times as you want.
I'm not saying that we should send it to budget, if they've already voted and said they're not gonna do it. I wanna know our legal obligation as a county, somebody should have to do it, I would think. Just,
I would
and that's
think
why
so,
I'm
too.
asking Mr. Sittler if he could follow up with
Are we talking about like
flashing school
just the
zones.
school zone
School zone.
signs?
15,
Okay.
20-mile-an-hour signs.
It's
at
no
Liberty
other
Creek.
directional sign than that.
Correct, we have brand new schools that have been in operation for,
I believe they're the only one in
Half
the
a
county,
year.
aren't they? The only one in the entire county, I
and
think.
they
that
do
doesn't
not
that.
have functioning school zone lights. It was brought to our attention, a month into the school year? And here we are 4 months later and still have not resolved the issue.
Yeah, it was actually brought to my attention before I even won the election, but as.
But you
as
thought it had
quickly as
been
we could-
completed at that time, and it was brought up that no, it hadn't been completed yet.
So when we talked about it before, it went to budget, and they shot it down.
I believe so,
See,
because we would have seen
See,
it.
I thought it was gonna go to the county commission to talk, or they were gonna talk to the board of education about doing it.
If it doesn't pass budget, it doesn't go to the full commission, though. That's what happened.
Yeah, and we requested also that,
Because
that
I'd come with
the
a
school
dollar
board talk-
amount, a budget of a dollar amount of what it would cost.
Yes, and we sent that to budget, but it didn't pass, and so ultimately, it's not our responsibility, it's the school board's responsibility.
It's not our responsibility as a committee, I understand that, but as a county, I'm looking out for the interests of the county and the children, that we've got to follow up with this, it can't fall through the cracks. So, does this need to be made in the form of a motion to ask Mr. Sittler to follow up with that? Do we need to send it a different place if budget's not rectifying the problem, because they say it's not
Tim,
county's
why don't-
responsibility, it's school board responsibility?
Why don't we leave it as old,
Hey.
or on there, and we let Mr. Eric check it out?
But I would like to know sooner than next month. If it's something we can find out next week, since most of us are gonna be here during budget legislative and other things, maybe we could follow up with where to
I have
send
an
it.
idea, and I'll entertain a motion for this if it seems correct, but we sent it to budget and they didn't pass it, but if we sent it to education, it would raise awareness at least more of the school board. And I think that if we're wanting awareness to get this done, then that would be one way to plead our case.
I
and
don't
we-
disagree with you, but education then has to send it to budget. That's 2 months.
I know, but,
We're gonna be at the end of the school year before we
I know.
end up possibly getting licensed, it's gonna be a back burner issue. It's summertime, we don't need them anyway. So
When does education meet this week?
they just met
They just met
2 hours
2
ago.
hours ago.
2 hours ago.
So,
I think there's a state agency, TACIR, and they take care of, like, when things aren't right. Can we not make a state agency force them to do their job?
Mr. Sittler, can you inquire about that? Is that
Absolutely.
something we can just request, or do we need to make a motion for this? Is that something you can just do as a courteous for us? Courtesy for us?
I don't know that there's a motion to be made. I mean, Mr. Hyde, is there anything?
No, just request the attorney.
If Mr. Sittler can follow up with that and let us know if there's anything we can do or how obligated we are.
And maybe if you wouldn't mind, sir, would you maybe just loop in the attorney for the school board, maybe? Would that be appropriate, Mr. Hyde, do you think? Just so that they know what's going on.
If you can let us know something in email.
I think I'll end up there anyway, so that's not a problem.
Yeah.
What was the location of the ones we're talking
Liberty
about?
Hunter's Lane.
They're at
Uh,
Hunter's
Both
Lane.
sides, right?
Yeah.
Back way.
Yeah,
Both sides
yeah,
of
really, both sides of
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack Way, because Wolfpack Way is
So
not,
Liberty Creek Elementary and Liberty Creek High School.
yeah, Wolfpack Way is still a school board road. It's not a county road. At this point, it's not been voted on.
And
And
if you
so-
could let us know something in an email, then possibly,
One's Upper Station Camp Creek, one is Hunter's Lane.
Mr. Chairman, my thought is if he could let us know something in an email in the next few days or before next week, maybe we can ask for it to be put on the agenda, added to the agenda for budget, legislative, whatever he finds out our obligation is
Yeah.
to expedite this.
Yeah, because we've already voted on it. That seems appropriate that,
The will of this committee is to get it done.
yeah.
We just don't know the path it needs to go.
So, okay, so I don't think there's any action to be taken.
Mm-mm, not until we hear back.
Were you going to take this out of your budget?
No, sir.
That would sure simplify things.
No, there's no money for it. In fact, I owe EMS money for radios, and the previous administration didn't put the 14,000 in the budget, and I don't know. I went to David Long and put my budget on the table. I said, you show me where to get 14 grand, and I said, we'll do it.
We're talking about at least 4 signs, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 4 signs.
Entrance, exit, both schools.
Yes, for Liberty Creek, on the high school side and the elementary side.
Wolfpack Way will maintain this whole speed limit the whole way, right? Even when the middle school comes online.
Yeah.
So it'd be 4 signs.
Can I make one question to
Yeah.
Marshall? Marshall, is there any reason why is there anything we're missing that would be okay with it? If that were passed on? I mean, I'm not asking, but if there were, if it were, whoever funded it, if Upper Station Camp Creek and Hunter's Lane had lights on it, before and after Wolfpack Way, would Wolfpack Way would that be a safety issue?
So would there be a school zone on Upper Station and then a school zone on Wolfpack Way for essentially
No,
the entire length?
Hunter's Lane, not Wolfpack.
Yeah, so like when you turn off of Upper Station Camp Creek, you'd be in a school zone.
Mm-hmm.
And would it be understandable that you're in it all the way to Hunter's Lane?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
because the school campus is that entire.
But what we had talked about right now, there would be 2 signs for the high school,
Sure.
2 signs for the elementary. When the middle school comes into play, it goes from 4 to 2, because then just that becomes the whole school zone.
My question, I have one question, I'm not gonna ask another one.
Okay.
Bedtime. Is this really our responsibility as a highway department to be worrying about these signs? This is the Board of Education, this is in their wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we're wheeling it, and for him to get with the attorney, I think that will bring attention
I think
to
so
the
too.
idea, and I think just talking about it is,
I think at this point too, if there's no objection to this, we'll take it off of old business and unless it comes back up. And we'll just let our law director, find out about that and if you wouldn't mind just emailing back the commission, and then we'll just, we'll move forward with it, because I think we're just spinning our wheels at that point.
Can we wait to take it off until we find out from him? So first of next meeting, we can take it off?
I'll tell you
Hopefully
what,
this issue will be done.
yeah, we can, but I'll tell you what, I'm okay with that. But it's been ongoing, and we really don't have any power in it. So
Whether it's on the list or not, we can still be checking on, because it's
Yeah.
just not part of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's not what the department does.
It's not in his budget, and we don't have the power over the school boards. I mean, we can keep it on there, but I think that ultimately, if he finds out something that we are able to do, then I'll stick it right back up there on the agenda.
It started here, it's fallen through the cracks, obviously. I don't wanna take it off till somebody else has picked up the mantle, is my point. And I wanna hear back from what, Mr. Sittler says as to where we can send this issue to get it off our plate. My intentions are the same, to get it off our plate.
My
I
only
don't think
argument,
it's saving anything except for mentioning that we wanna take it off next month.
my only argument is that what's the gain in us putting it on here for next month and talking about the same things that we can't do anything about? I think if we let him follow up and we take it and send it on, and then we'll have something to tell the school board instead of it coming back here for another month to another month to another month. And I'm okay with that, but we don't have any power on it. And we've already sent it to budget, and budget said no. So, I mean, ultimately, we're at the mercy of just him finding out if there's any state law.
This just holds him to follow through with that, and if something happened, God forbid something happened, we know to ask about what happened to that next month.
Yeah, okay, well, if,
That's the only purpose.
you wanna make a motion, and let's make a motion, you wanna make a motion to whether or not that stays on the agenda for next month, does that sound like something?
If we do no action, it stays there, right? I just say, leave it there, we'll take care of getting it off the agenda next month.
We'll just wait, we'll wait.
We'll know
Yeah.
everything next month, and it'll take 5 seconds to pull it off the agenda next month.
Okay, well,
Is that okay?
And are we saying we're gonna have it on the agenda when we meet next month? Or are we gonna
In
say we're
case,
gonna only
just
put
in
it on
case.
there if there's no action?
If we do nothing, it'll be there next month.
Okay,
And we'll
Think I got
take care of getting it off of there at the first of the meeting.
does everyone else feel that way?
That's my suggestion.
Okay, got it, good deal, okay, well, we only have one more,
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Well, I wanna say.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.